To Questionnaire for Atheists, 20 questions.
Questionnaire is a bit different than my questions videos for atheists. Although there are some apologetics questions here, most are basically survey questions just to satisfy my curiosity.
Okay.
Keep in mind, some of these questions are not necessarily directed towards atheists. The first question is, I know that not all of you are strong atheists. What are the odds that any God exists, whether a deistic God or from one of the religions?
What are the odds that any God exists? Slim to none. Especially if you were to talk about a merciful God, considering human life and how miserable a lot of times it can be.
2. What are the odds that the Christian God is real?
Slim to none. Pretty much none.
3. Did you grow up atheist or did you deconvert?
I grew up as a child. I kind of was introduced to the Catholic religion to some degree, but I wasn't raised in a very strict religious family. My sister is extremely conservative Christian, and my other sister is kind of more on the universal type of thinking, more atheist than anything though. And I'm atheist, and in a sense I guess you could say I converted, because at one point I considered myself a Christian.
4. Do you believe that acceptance of evolution and belief in a personal God are compatible?
Let's rewind that again.
Do you believe that acceptance of evolution and belief in a personal God are compatible?
Sure. You could. In fact, that's something I don't understand as far as the argument between creationists and evolutionists or what have you. They could both go together. I mean, maybe if there were a God, maybe God created evolution. I mean, I don't get why there has to be a disparity between those two things, except for that, biblically, the Bible just, the God is just saying, okay, I created this, and poof, there it is. Whereas evolution, I don't think would agree with that.
5. What do you believe was going on 2,000 years ago in ancient Palestine? 6.
What do I believe was going on in ancient Palestine 2,000 years ago? I don't know and don't care.
Do you believe that there are aspects of the human mind that are unexplainable by science?
Are there aspects of the human mind that are unexplainable by science? Of course.
7. Why does humanity seem to universally have an innate religious desire and need to worship something or someone?
Because we're sycophants. We like to have somebody over us and telling us what to do, on the one hand. On the other hand, it's because it answers questions that we don't have the answers to yet. And on the other hand, it's kind of wishful thinking as far as hoping that there's something more after death. So there's a lot of reasons for the human mind, or the human, for humans to, create gods.
8. I don't deny the Big Bang Theory at all, but what do you suppose triggered the Big Bang?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but they're working on that right now. I believe Stephen Hawking is working on that, trying to figure out what happened prior to the Big Bang, or what was prior to the Big Bang.
9. Are humans of more intrinsic value than animals?
Are humans of more intrinsic value than animals? I think they're about the same. I mean, but, if in a situation where, are you going to save the animal or are you going to save the human? Obviously, I would have to save the human because, well, so I guess that means, on some level, in my opinion, they're more valuable. Only because I guess they're more intelligent, or because I am a human, so therefore other humans should be more valuable than animals. I don't know. But I love animals dearly, so that's hard for me to answer.
10. How does an atheist determine what is moral or immoral, right or wrong?
An atheist determines what's moral, immoral, right or wrong, which are basically the same things, by using common sense. And a lot of what has been put forth by religion, because of the fact that those gods and those things were created by men, created by humans, a lot of those are good ideas. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Don't steal. Don't murder. I believe that morals basically come from a sense of they're basically our instinctual survival mechanisms. I think that's a lot of what morals are.
11. Have you ever read any Christian apologetics literature? And if so, why didn't it convince you?
Because it was all circular reasoning and basically was either denying basic tenets in the doctrine or it was just unreasonable completely.
12. Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrial life?
I think it's unknown at this point. I can't say I believe it, but I don't write it off either.
13. Since it seems that many, but not all atheists are libertarians, what does atheism have anything to do with politics?
I think that's a good question. I might do a video on that myself at some point or another. I think a lot of atheists tend to be more on the liberal side of things. You definitely don't find a lot of us that are Republicans, I would venture to say. But I could be wrong about that. I mean, at this point, I think that the majority of your Republicans are going to be the fundamentalists, because of the fact that that political party has more of the Christian views intertwined in it. It's more conservative.
14. What would cause you to convert to some form of theism?
A God to produce itself.
15. What is the main reason why people become atheists?
I think the main reason people become atheists is, I think there's two main reasons. Some people, for some atheists, and these are more the hardcore atheists, it's basically based off of evidence alone. There's not enough evidence to suggest that there is a God for any other religions, and they just decide based off that. Then for a lot of other atheists, myself included, I think it's a matter of just reasoning and rationale that looks at these stories in the Bible and can see that they're mythological, and also makes the decision that even if this God were true, say the Christian God, for example, I wouldn't worship this God anyway because his morals are beneath my own. And to me, that kind of almost discounts him as a God in and of itself. So I think those are the two biggest things.
16. I don't deny abiogenesis or evolution, but how did the very first DNA molecules evolve?
I have no idea. Maybe they came from another planet. Maybe the aliens seeded us on this planet. I don't know.
17. Are there any atheists who were brought up without belief in God, but temporarily became a Christian or other theist, only later to deconvert back to their atheism?
That was me, exactly.
18. Do you believe in the possibility there is another realm outside of nature that science cannot study?
Possibly.
19. Do you think it's amazing that we are here at all? And finally, 20.
I don't so much think it's amazing that we're here, so much as I think it's amazing that we know that we're here. You know, our level of consciousness, and I think it keeps growing and growing. As far as how aware that we are, I think that it's either a fluke of nature or there is some point to it, but I'm not sure which yet. Sometimes I look at it as our knowing is actually more like a disease or a mutation than it is a good thing.
If we came from monkeys, just kidding. I couldn't think of a good question for number 20, so I've decided to ask a silly one.
Okay.
If there is someone who thinks that everyone believes in some kind of deity and therefore does not believe there are any atheists in existence, do you suppose they would be called atheistists? And that'll be it for my questionnaire.
That last one was funny, and yeah, probably. Okay, that's my response. I'll have to come up with some questions for you, but I enjoyed that. That was very fun.